where do you see a need for indigenous firms to up their game, as it were, ramping up capacity in whatever areas with these international oil firms when it comes to the oil and gas industry?
I must tell you, I've been on the saddle for about 4 months, but part of my forte before I became the executive secretary was to manage local content in the oil and gas industry, first with Shell, locally, and then internationally with Shell, to develop strategy on how the company will fit into some of the demands of various countries. I can tell you that in Nigeria, we've done very well in terms of local content development. Today, you have almost about 6 world-class fabrication yards in country. Today, for the first time in the history of this country, we are going to be integrating an FPSO, which is the floating production system, operation and production system, in this country for the first time. Not too many people know what an FPSO is, because before now it's all done abroad and it's 120 kilometers offshore. But today people are going to see that that big ship, which is about 6-story building and in some instance about 3 football fields together, will be integrated here in Nigeria. Just to tell you how we have progressed over time. So I think that singular act of enacting the Local Content Act in 2010 has become a game changer in the industry. More Nigerians are participating, capacity is being developed, and the industry very much embraced the idea, I must tell you that.
I was on Snake Island, and I think I saw a bit of the LP, what you call it, the FPSO, yes, been built, part of the cast being quite huge, and that was part of it, and others are building part, being brought together, and that's indigenous. Thousands and thousands of Nigerians working on such a massive project. Yeah. But if you look at your sector, with the recession of the last year, very blistering, things looks to be easing from all forecasts. What's your outlook on your industry?
Oh, I think personally, I'm an incurable optimist, if you will call me that. I believe that things will only look up, in my personal opinion, given all the indices and given all the indicators that you see around. The price might stabilize, the oil price might stabilize, and industry is beginning to adjust itself in terms of the current price regime that they see in the foreseeable future.
Does that include the foreign exchange?
Absolutely, because the way it works is that once oil price is high, services are high. Once oil price is down, the cost of services then reduces accordingly. So I think industry is adjusting to that, and you see that the cost of services will reduce to match the cost of per barrel of oil as we go through this period. And I think we are almost getting to that threshold where everybody's realized that this price regime might be on for quite a while. Hence, we have to bring down the cost of services. So I'm very optimistic. Things will pick up now that we have adjusted ourselves a bit. And all agencies are doing all they can, be it OPEC, be it international agencies, to make sure that there's stability in the oil price.
As far as the act is concerned, the act of your agency, do you think it's due for review? If yes, what would you like to see change?
Indeed, part of the provision of the act is that from time to time we review some of the schedules that are contained in the act, such that once Nigerians have developed capacity to an extent, we have to up the requirement for in-country participation. Right now we are doing a comprehensive review of the act itself, how we've implemented it in the past 6 years. After then, we will then tell ourselves if there are areas we need to up the game or areas that we've been over-optimistic that we need to bring down to reality. So that process will definitely be very necessary in the shortest possible time.
How soon will that be?
Yeah.
You're just about 4 months in the saddle. How soon will that be within your tenure?
In the next 2 months, we are going to come out with a 10-year strategic plan. Amongst that 10-year strategic plan, you will then see the differences in terms of reviewing where we are in the various schedules of the Act to bring it to reality so that we can forecast where we want to be in the next 10 years. Like I said, 70% is the target, and that we hope to achieve.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
We'll be around in 10 years' time. to check out your 10-year program.
Absolutely.
70%, and I'll bank you down here.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Engineer Simbi Wabote, who is the Executive Secretary of the Nigeria Content Development and Management Board. Very quickly, the Central Bank just issued a statement to back what you see on television and on the social media today, that 360 naira is the rate at which banks should sell basic travel allowances, PTAs, school fees, and medicals to customers. The Central Bank, in this statement from the office of the Communications Office of the Central Bank, says the banks will get this FX from the regulator at 357 naira to the dollar. They are to send to end users at 360. This bringing down those rates from about 370 previously. The Central Bank says it will send examiners to banks to ensure that the new rates are implemented. All banks in all the branches are expected to display the new rates with immediate effect, and the banks are also prohibited from selling these FX funds meant for invisibles to Bureau de Change operators. That's the latest this morning, and we're kicking off the final trading week in the month of March with the Central Bank coming up with this rates reduction as far as these basics invisibles are concerned. We'll be back after the break. We're in the final trading week of March, and we still have a bit more to talk about from the equity side of things. Stick around.